Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Discovery Stage. So the final session of the day is called The Future of Post-Digital Customer Engagement is Cognitive, and it's presented by Havas. Please welcome Havas Global Head of Marketing Innovation and Global Brand Director, Jercinovic.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about the future. I'm going to tell you a couple things about cognitive and how it's changing our lives now. And most importantly, I'm going to talk about its impact on the user experience. Because we believe that the impact of cognitive is not far off, but now, and creates markets of one. Markets of one. That's the critical thing. So the future is here. And the thing about the future is that when people talk about the future, they always want to talk about flying cars. Or perhaps killer robots. And the thing about this notion, and this is what the most common preconceptions of artificial intelligence is this negative anti-utopian, science fiction-driven future in which we are slaves to the machines and they win. And that's brought to us through science fiction movies, which I want to show you some.
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
You are making a mistake. My logic is undeniable.
You have so got to die.
My logic is undeniable.
Describe in single words. Only the good things that come into your mind. About your mother?
My mother?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my mother.
So this vision of the future may be one of our worst nightmares. But the truth is that the future is here today. And when you talk about the future, the word revolution is thrown around a lot, especially when it comes to technology and innovation. You might remember the digital revolution, or perhaps the year of mobile, or the data revolution. Now, much of this is hype, as you guys know, but these were all steps on the cognitive journey in which we're on. You see, the future is here now, and it is cognitive. We live in a world now that is driven by algorithms, and we exist in this, sometimes transparently or even unknown to us. From the Google search results that I see, from Apple's Siri and how I interact with Facebook, you know, I often think of the content that's recommended to me as very relevant, and I see that from Netflix recommendations to even Amazon purchase recommendations. And I know in Asia that this is also happening. Whereas I'm not an expert about Tencent and Alibaba and WeChat, I am confident that the intelligence behind it is sophisticated as well. So the world that we live in now influences everything that I do, from the people that I interact with, from the objects that I am recommended to buy, even potentially who I want to marry. And when I think about that, I think I have an expectation that the technology is there for me and is benefiting me. So cognitive's here today, and let's think about that for a second. I'm interacting with these sophisticated platforms on a daily basis, and I've become accustomed to the expectation that it functions at that level. If you think about the impact of that on brands, they have the same challenge in that they themselves have to deal with that expectation for consumers. I have the expectation that it's going to work at all times on all devices, wherever I am. So the thesis of what I'm going to talk to you about today is this notion that cognitive enables brands to reinvent the customer experience. And cognitive is driving a phenomenon right now in user experience and customer engagement that finally truly warrants the use of these revolutionary terms. The byproduct, or perhaps what is collapsing because of this, is the customer journey. So I'll say it again. Cognitive enables brands to reinvent the customer experience. One of the themes that I've seen today and yesterday is an acceptance that we live in this age of acceleration. And the world is accelerating because of several parameters. We exist in a state of information overload, and the reason for that is complex, but I'm going to dive into this a little bit. We're still on the exponential curve of Moore's law, which is driving processor power down and birthing technologies such as cloud and software as a service. The benefits from that are numerous. If you add into that the additional explosion of sensors and mobile devices, enterprise data, IoT solutions, social media, Snapchat, we have a tremendous amount of data. And the thing about this data is that it's not a linear, structured data. It is unstructured. Traditional structured data, which you might know as an Excel file or database tables, or even question and answer pairs, are easy to understand, or easier to understand. But the complexity that's inherent in unstructured data makes it difficult. How do you interpret emotion from video? How do you understand sentiment from emoticons? These are challenging problems, and the traditional mechanisms of if-then computer programming struggle. Cognitive enables you to see insights inside dark data. And cognitive technology has the ability to elucidate consumer insights inside of unstructured data. This means that brands themselves can benefit from those insights at scale and provide customers or users personalized experiences that benefit them. So cognitive systems exhibit these four characteristics: understanding, reasoning, learning, and interaction. And if you think about that, that's very human.
Computing systems of the past have operated in predictable environments, using structured and uniform data to perform prescribed operations. Now we have cognitive computing systems, which are much more adaptable and, similar to a human brain, can understand, reason, and learn. These systems can read vast amounts of unstructured data and use it to spot connections and patterns in new ways, offering insight into all kinds of human expression.
So let's review. The attributes of cognitive systems must demonstrate understanding, and that means using words and language like we do as people. They must demonstrate reasoning, grasping concepts and hypotheses and extracting and inferring meaning. They must learn from those systems and exhibit a hierarchy of understanding that is exhibited through correct response. Think of it as a recursive loop. Cognitive systems that are done well never stop learning. We receive the benefit of that by interacting with these systems in ways that we're comfortable with: seeing, hearing, talking. These systems must interact in a human way or natural way. You see, we as humans do this unconsciously. When I see something, I observe it. I unconsciously make an interpretation of those actions. I evaluate responses, and then I make decisions based on the norms of my thought process. We as humans do this intuitively, and we've been trained to do this through education. When you think about what experts face today, they see that wall of big data, and they struggle with how to continue to be experts in the context of unstructured data. If you think about adding in cognitive systems to our ability to become experts, you see what can be possible. When we talk about the notion of artificial intelligence, we're struck with this misnomer. First, we're drawn into this negative anti-utopian vision that I showed earlier. But the truth of cognitive is that it's not an artificial intelligence. It's an intelligence that is augmenting who I am. So it's not man versus machine. It's using these machines to help us think more and better and really extend our humanity and to make us better. So cognitive computing enables a partnership between people and computers that scales what it means to be human. It scales what it means to be good or to be an expert. And that enables us as marketers to create one-to-one experiences, to market to an individual as opposed to a group or a persona. At Havas, we look at our clients and we see them gathering tremendous amounts of data, from sophisticated social campaigns to CRM programs to first, second, and third-party data, purchase history, etc. And we thought, with our expertise as marketers, we know our clients and we know the strategic outcomes of what they're looking to do. We execute beautiful creative campaigns, fantastic media plans, and we couple that with cognitive technology, like our partnership with IBM Watson, and it enables us to bring new brands, to create new brands, and to create new experiences for our clients. New strategies are articulated, new services, new products, and all of our clients are in the process of trying to reinvent themselves. As digital transformation changes the world, Havas enables our clients to achieve a future today. So in April, we launched this primarily from IBM's desire for us to roll out our own services. As we had been, as the digital agency of record for IBM, we've been helping them on the marketing side of Watson and on cognitive services. And much of our expertise came from the designing of these systems. However, some people have a hard time understanding enterprise speak. You know, as marketers, we help translate that value to something our clients can understand. So we went public with the practice, I should say, we went beta with the practice in April or May of this year, and we've been embracing, our clients have been embracing this in a very, very fast and fastidious way. So today I'm going to take you through some examples of what this looks like, move from the theory or the academic approach that I was just discussing, and show some examples in action. What's interesting about our approach is that we've learned from lean software development, and we've learned from the giants of today on how to develop prototypes and work in context of an execution that can be tested in market and learn with our clients and iterate. We call that process the Havas Make. So Havas makes cognitive solutions come alive. The benefits of cognitive systems are many. Today I'm going to talk about 3 main points. The first is that you understand me as an individual. There's a tendency in marketing to group people into like-for-like buckets, sometimes called segments, cohorts, personas, numerous terms. With cognitive, you can drive hyper-personalized engagement that is down to the individual. This is what I mean by a market of one. In today's world, because of the nature of the sophisticated technology in which we engage with every day, we expect things to be recommended to us in a very personalized and highly intelligent way. And we are comfortable with sharing our personal data in exchange for something that delivers that value. The second benefit of a cognitive system is to drive a rich profile that's based on these interactions. And that means you have to create systems or systems of engagement that make every interaction matter. From a plus to a positive, to a negative review, to a left swipe. Cognitive systems are able to scale every interaction. The benefit is that the customer journey is collapsed. You know, with digital, you no longer have to go through a linear journey of awareness, consideration, trial, purchase, and loyalty as we used to. I can go from completely unaware of a product or a brand, and in one click or one text message, purchase and demonstrate my loyalty through social media. So that's a destruction of the traditional purchase journey. And with cognitive, you're able to make that happen at scale on an individual basis. So what does that mean? All cool words, Jason, but let's see some examples. So one of the early clients that saw the potential was TD Ameritrade. And TD Ameritrade is a financial services company. You may know it. They offer investment services. And they came to us with, we talked to them about cognitive, and they're like, all right, let's try something. And many of the clients want to start small and think about it in a trial capacity. And we call that the cognitive journey. So I'm going to take you through TD Ameritrade's early stages of their journey, and then we'll come back to sort of where they are now. So for TD Ameritrade, in which we do through-the-line work, above-the-line activity is around this notion of confidence. It's one of the brand promises. It's said that the TD Ameritrade investment platform is based on technology, and thus it enables you to be more confident with your investments because of the technology. And as part of the marketing campaign, we worked with the National Football League in America and sponsored a high-profile quarterback to be the brand spokesperson, whose name was Andrew Luck. And this was done as a joke because the spots ran under the presumption the marketing department went out and hired this guy, and they came back to the business and said, look, we got Andrew Luck. And all the guys on the platform side were like, we don't need Luck, we have technology. So he's dressed in his football attire, and he's around the office, and the marketing people are like, we don't need you, it's okay, he's filing, and it's sort of a funny campaign. When we wanted to activate a campaign in digital that drove engagement to the platform, the brief was around this notion of confidence. So the answer was, well, we know that there's an NFL partnership and have a sponsorship. And so we created a system that enabled you to log in through social media, and a custom confidence algorithm rated you, and we gave away 2 tickets for each team to the most confident fan. So I'm going to play a video of this so you can explain it in a little more detail.
Many Americans believe to be successful in the stock market, you just need to be lucky. But TD Ameritrade knows the real key to being a successful investor is confidence, and they have some of the best confidence-building investment tools in the industry. So how could TD Ameritrade prove to people that confidence and success go hand in hand? Football, a place where people already believe their support and confidence have a direct impact on their team's success. Introducing TD Ameritrade's most confident fans. In partnership with the NFL, we created the first ever digital experience that used social data to prove the power of confidence in football and investing. All fans had to do was link their social profiles and show support for their favorite teams. These posts were then analyzed by supercomputer IBM Watson using a custom algorithm we created in partnership with IBM. This custom algorithm enabled Watson for the first time ever to analyze the language in fans' social posts, determine the levels of confidence displayed for their favorite teams, and convert those levels into measurable data. During the campaign, Watson analyzed hundreds of thousands of social posts, ranking fans based on their confidence levels. They could also see how their confidence levels impacted their team's success in real time. Fans could also learn how they could be more successful with TD Ameritrade's confidence-building investment tools. So, how successful were we? Well, we actually predicted the winner of Super Bowl 50, the Denver Broncos, solely based on fans' confidence levels. The business results were also a confidence boost. During the initiative, brand consideration increased over 23%. Participants spent a record-breaking 20 minutes on the site, and investments with TD Ameritrade increased by $800 million. But more importantly, TD Ameritrade proved that to be successful, all you need are the tools and the confidence that comes with them.
So what's interesting about this campaign was that it was a campaign. It was a test of the technology. And the CMO realized that the results far drove success in a tremendous capacity. And internally, the team saw the benefits of cognitive. So their journey expanded, and any day now, I was hoping to show you tonight, but it's not public yet, the next version of TD Ameritrade's platform is launching, which uses cognitive to enable product recommendations directly tied to who your personality is. Additionally, we have begun the 3rd stage of putting intelligent chatbots into Facebook and Kik and Messenger that enable direct interaction with services around your investments. And the last board meeting, TD Ameritrade realized that they can't do any activity in marketing that is not infused by cognitive. So they've gone in 1 year from a skeptic to a complete advocate because of the benefits of the technology. And interesting enough, not only is it impacting the platform and the ability to drive investments, it's changed the nature of how the executives at the firm think. Okay, talk another example here. So Sanofi is another client of ours, and one of the things that we like to think about at Havas is not only creating nice solutions that drive the business goals of our clients, but have impact that make the world a better place or make people realize the benefit of the technology. So multiple sclerosis, you may know, is a debilitating illness, and it's not necessarily about treating the illness so it goes away, because you can't really get rid of it. You have to live with it. So the brief is, how do you enable a better life? And you think about that from the context of a person that may have multiple sclerosis, and the insight came out that gait or tempo of music enables a higher proficiency of activity for the user, or for the patient. So I'm going to play a video here that explains how cognitive can enable a person with MS to have a better life.
Introducing MS Sounds, a self-learning application that harnesses the power of cognitive to find insights through patterns. It improves coordination by controlling the rhythm of steps and movement through music. Our tactile sensor technology gives patients the power to select playlists based on a tempo that can be set through tapping. Every patient has a unique gait tempo. Through a built-in digital metronome, the intuitive tempo adjustment responds and adjusts accordingly. The voice recognition function allows patients to find their ideal pace without having to interrupt their day.
Slow down.
The steps per minute pace matching technology uses cognitive computing to identify a song's BPM and matches that to the patient's ideal gait.
That's better.
The easy-to-use tempo slider calibrates and revises song lists to conform to the desired pace in real time. This information is then automatically sent back to MS Sounds, where a centralized system compiles data for all patients. This data can be used to understand MS better and lay the foundation for a more efficient cognitive tool and, most importantly, advance her therapy. MS Sounds is also Bluetooth compatible, so it can fit within a home's existing audio system. Seamless device communication provides uninterrupted information from one device to the next, and Pulse technology maintains the pace even without music. This isn't theoretical innovation. With MS Sounds, patients can start significantly improving their ability to walk today. The more they listen, the further they go. MS Sounds. Music for mobility. Music for mood.
So when clients come to me and say, "Oh, Jason, you're building the Borg. I don't know about this cognitive thing. Aren't you really just going to destroy humanity?" I show them a video like this, or tell the story of how actually it enables us to become better humans. Talk you through another case. Red Bull is a client of ours in North America, actually in many markets. And the brief, interesting that they gave us was, they came to us with the knowledge of the power of cognitive and said, we want to use cognitive to enable our athletes, which is their brand, to understand how they can become better athletes. And so what we did was did a couple things with them. We had a workshop, an offsite with the athletes, and it's under the context of developing their own personal the vision of their brand, as well as how that comes to life through marketing activity. And what's interesting about Red Bull as a company is they're a non-traditional marketer. They're selling effectively a product that they say gives you wings, but it comes to life as a marketing exercise through the athletes that they sponsor. But there's not a lot of direction given to the actual athletes who are brand ambassadors in terms of how that comes about, with the exception of clothing and product. And each athlete is very different from an athlete who is a professional chess player, which is true. They sponsored the second best chess player in North America as a Red Bull athlete, to Miles, who's an Olympic fencer, to your standard Red Bull athlete, guys that jump out of planes and bike riders and all these crazy guys. So each one of these guys and girls has a different brand unto themselves because it is who they are. And it is the embodiment of them as a Red Bull sponsor that enables Red Bull to continue to have its edge and its cool factor. So we came to them and said, well, we need to explore what it means for you to be who you are as an athlete, as a personal brand. For each one of these persons, and let's take Miles, for example, he's his own guy. He's a fencer, did well in the Olympics this year. And his brand, it would be very different from another athlete who may have a different the process. So what we did was we did a social brand workshop to understand what they're about and how they use social media now. And most of these athletes are very sophisticated with millions of followers across multiple social channels. And then we also developed an application in which we interviewed them about who they were by themselves, who they were really, as opposed to who their public persona was. And then we used our Havas Cognitive platform to measure these two different views of these individuals, the public persona versus the real persona. And so we called that platform Me versus I, right? And this used personality of the social media posts and as well as blog posts and basically any corpus of data that was tied to the individual athlete. And we correlated that against who they really were, which was a much more intimate knowledge of who they were as an individual person. And we showed these results to these athletes. And the way we did that was relatively simple. I'll map this out. And this is where we get a little nerdy because we're in the tech room here. So we listened to their social media feeds through either third-party social listening platform or cognitive APIs that allowed us directly to go into the Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, et cetera. And then we had our Havas Cognitive speech-to-text interview engine, which allowed you to speak directly into the computer, translated that to text, and applied our cognitive platform to it, which would then spit out a personality algorithm for who you were. We mapped that on a spider chart across the characteristics of each individual and showed the public persona, which in this one is blue, the social personality analysis, and we also mapped the private personality of who I really am. Now this is my data, and it's increasingly becoming interesting to me as I do this presentation, how much of myself I'm giving out to the world on this. But what was interesting is you could see the two versions of me. So here's JJ's personality graph, and there's some parts of this that are very different. For example, you'll see my public personality is much less melancholy than my altruistic personal side. And you'll see different level of emotionality, or even a contrast between my imagination or how I demonstrate achievement striving. Which one of these is the real me is the question, right? I am really both. Now, what's interesting is you apply this to in this instance, the brand was the athlete. Upon showing each athlete their own me versus I results, they immediately had a visceral response that said, oh no, that's not me, this is me. And then you're able to say, okay, well then how do you show that? How do you say that? What are the words that you use that you're able to articulate that? So that turned into their own brand tone or their own personal brand platform. And then we mapped that out over the course of the year in terms of what events they were involved with, how they plugged that, and they use the platform now to measure the effectiveness of themselves versus themselves. Interesting, huh? So for this week, the local team here in Singapore did a great example of applying cognitive and demonstrating one of the main theses of our point is that I have a personal experience. And if you went to our coffee little shop over there, perhaps you saw the card that we did. And this is a great example of demonstrating how I can show understanding of who you are as a person and have a very personalized engagement through a custom playlist. So if you haven't done it yet, you should go do this. Go to havascafe.asia, log in via Facebook, and it will give you back a personal playlist that's based on who you are. And we would love the feedback. It's a good example of applying this in market for this event. Okay. Oh, whoa, where'd we go? There we go. So where do we go from here? Oh, we're having a PowerPoint challenge there. Hold on. All right, I'll just skip it. So roll with it. So innovation itself is a series of calculated bets that we make on where things are going. Nobody really knows exactly where we're going to end up, right? We have ideas or vectors about sort of where we think things are going. And big ideas live in delivery. And by that, what I mean is an idea is just an idea until it actually comes to life. So we as marketers need to be able to demonstrate the adaptability of what's changing in the marketplace today. When you see the rapidly changing market that we're in right now, you need to respond to change, enable our clients to respond to change. And so that's what we call being digitally fit. Looks like my slides have gone away. So I'm just going to keep going. Becoming digitally fit. Oh, here we go. Thank you, sir. So when you live in a digital world, you realize that it's about adaptability, right? And one of the things about cognitive is it enables you to have the data or the information that gives you the insight to know how to be adaptable. Now, what I recommend to everybody who's involved in this, and when we talk to all of our clients now, it's about using those customer insights to identify your customers' pain points, or what we call the user need, right? And to develop a solution around that. So as a marketing organization itself, we are ourselves benefiting from this notion of becoming more digital and becoming more digitally fit. So let me use a metaphor. This might be to help articulate it. If you think about a football team, an individual athlete can be at his physical peak perfection and be the best striker in the planet. You take 11 of them on the pitch, and even if they are the best athletes of all, for example, the English soccer team at the World Cup this year, they didn't come together as a team perform, despite them perhaps being the best athletes in the world. One of the things that enables teams to work together is the infrastructure around the team. The trainers, the food, the diet, and the chemistry that comes between them. Cognitive enables a better team dynamic through the use of data and enables organizations to become more digitally fit. So if you start to think about building the cognitive apps of the future, and you dive your toes into the waters of cognition, you'll start realizing that it applies to everything. And there really is no outcome that won't be impacted by the impact of data on our business. So what I recommend you think about is to make sure you put your user first, demonstrate the value of the data that you receive, and also ask how you can make the world better. As I said initially, it enables us to be better humans. So it's not just about selling more product or making the short-term goals of our clients come first. It's about using cognitive to enable all of us to become better humans and have a better planet. So what will you do with cognitive? Thank you.